Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 50 of Build Your Stash and Craft. This week we are going to make some twine spools, and you can use these spools to wrap your lace, to wrap twine, to wrap anything that you want to wrap. You can use them just for decoration. I want to use them for purpose, but I got this idea. We went to see our daughter in Oklahoma, and there was in this little antique shop, they had all of these. They were spools like from China or something. You could tell that they were just mass produced, but they were kind of like a not cardboard, but some, not wood either. I don't know. It was some funny material where they had made these spools and they just wrapped them with a really heavy colored twine. And they had like green ones and blue ones and yellow ones, and they just had them all thrown in a basket. And it looked really cute, and that's what it was for, just decoration. The twine that was on there was only like one layer thick, and it was glued right to the spool for decoration. But it gave me the idea because I have this whole roll of twine. And when I want to use this twine, I got this specifically because of how much was on the spool instead of getting like baker's twine. But when I want to use it, a lot of times I color it just by sticking it in a bowl of watered down paint and making either brown twine or green twine or whatever color twine I want. But I decided that what I wanted to do, so that I don't have to color it every time, is I wanted to make some of these spools, and I don't know how many I'm going to make, but quite a few, and I am going to dye my twine and stick it on my spool so that I have my twine in different colors so I can just grab it and use it right away. And like I said, there's so much on here that I can make quite a few different colors, and this spool right here has a ton of the cream twine on it, so I can color all of the rest of this and I'll still have a lot of the cream twine. So this is what we're going to do today. They're really not that hard. They're fun to make, and actually when I make them, if I toss them all in a little bowl or something, they'll look really cute when I'm not using them. So here's how we start. The first thing you're going to need is you're going to need some circles, just exactly like we did our buttons the other week. You're just going to cut out some circles and glue them together. Because I want to make a whole bunch, I've already got a bunch made, and I've just done some more circles. I just do them on a piece of chipboard. And the one thing that I wanted to say is I'm drawing these circles over and over, just in case you don't know this. Whenever I draw a circle, first off, whatever you're drawing around, you want it to have a straight edge on it. You don't want this to be curved in like on the bottom of a jar or something, because you won't get a really good definite circle, because it will go straight down and then it'll kind of go under the jar and come back up again, and you'll have a little bit that's not quite the exact. But I tend to do this. I start here and I go around, and then what I have to do is I have to stop and kind of move my finger out of the way and go back over here and go up here. And that just drives me crazy. And I know what I'm supposed to do. And so I just wanted to show you, when you're going to draw a circle around something, start under your finger. Start under your finger and then just go all the way around and go back under your finger, and you've got it. You don't ever have to lift your pencil. I always tend to start here or here. I never start where I'm supposed to, which is under my finger. And so I just kind of wanted to just give you that little tip, because then you don't ever have to lift your pencil and you get a perfect circle every time. Once you get your circles done, you're going to cut them out, and then you're going to glue 4 of them together. And whenever I cut anything out of chipboard, I always try and get very close to what I'm cutting like this before I cut it, because if you leave a large area of cardboard around there, it is going to want to bend that cardboard, and it will also bend your circle. So just when you cut these, make sure that you stay right on the line. I draw a bunch out, and then I just sit down and just either listen to some YouTube or some television or something, and just cut them all at the same time. But like I said, be very careful, because you're going to layer these up to just stay on that line. Okay, once you get 4 of these cut out, you're going to glue them together, and then you're going to put them into, as Papa would say, a great big book. And I have another big book that sits on top of this, so that you've got weight to weigh them down. Oh, that's a special one. I'll show you that one in a few minutes. Okay, so here's some that I have drying. Got all of the rest of them out of there. These ones are all dried. These ones I did yesterday. They've been drying since yesterday. And what we're going to do is we are going to sand them with our sandpaper. And I know that we went over this with the buttons, but in case you didn't see the button video, I'm going to just do it quickly. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to sand the edges, go round and round, make sure that you move your sandpaper so that you don't get a flat spot on your circle. But if you do, it doesn't matter. These are handmade. These are yours and they're handmade, and they're going to look lovely in your art room because they're handmade, which to me makes such a big difference. I love having things that I've made in my art room versus things that I bought at the store. Okay, now once you get your sides, and you're going to want to do those really well, so when you paint it, that just blends right in. But as you do that, you get this little lip around here, so then you're just going to take this and at an angle, you're just going to knock that lip off. And at the same time, that is going to round the edge of your circle. So you're just going to do that all the way around on both sides. And then you've got your circle for your top and your bottom. So that's what it looks like. I'll still need to do the bottom side. Let's grab these ones. Get the sandpaper dust off them now that I've just done that. And so these will all need to be sanded once they've dried. And that's why you want them to dry really well. I got this for Christmas last year. Now it's almost Christmas this year. I'm so happy that the series has gone this far. I didn't know if I could carry it out this long. Okay, so now you've got your circles. I've got 2 of them here. And now you're going to need to make your posts to hold onto your circles. And so what we're going to do is we are going to take, if I can figure out what I did with it, there we go, toilet paper roll. We're just going to squash it in half. Now, toilet paper rolls are different sizes, so if yours is a different size, just adjust. Nothing has to be exact. I just squish it in half and then cut it in half. And then what we're going to do is we are going to get the size that we need for our post. So for me, it's easier to cut these with my trimmer. I have everything just piled here. Okay, so in order to get a straight line, that just makes it easier for me. So what I'm going to do is, I know that this is fairly straight, and I'm just going to cut off just very slimly. Just cut this so that I know that it's straight. Okay, now we are going to have this rolling. It's going to roll just like the toilet paper tube did. So this is going to be our long way, and this is going to be 2 3/4 inches long, like this. So that's going to be the part that rolls. So 2 3/4. That just doesn't seem, yep, that's right. Okay, I got a little bit confused there for just a second. 2 3/4 that way. And then, is that 2? I lied. It needs to be 2 3/4 on the side that's, see, I didn't do that right. Let's do this again. I got the other half. Okay, the part that's going to roll needs to be 2 3/4 across. So let's trim this down. It's not wanting to trim well because of the box is soft. I guess I'll have to get something in a box for Christmas this year, so I'll have a new box to use to lift this up. Okay, 2 3/4. 2 3/4. Ooh, we just made that. And then this long way, we're going to go 2 inches, because it's going to be not quite 2 inches tall. Okay, that's 2 inches. And actually what happens when you do it that way is you wind up with my toilet paper roll, because they're all different, but I wind up with 2 pieces that I can use for a spool. Okay, so the way that it's going to curl like this, it's 2 3/4 inches long, and the part that's going to stand up and down is 2 inches. Now what we're going to do is we want to make a mark across the top at 1/4 inch here. And instead of putting little marks and drawing it with my ruler, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my scoreboard, and just to keep my hands out of the way and being able to hold it really well, this is 2 inches wide, so I'm going to score it at 1 3/4. That will give me 1/4 inch there. And then I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. Now this is also going to make it easier for us to fold. All right, once I do that, then I take my pencil and draw down that line. Like this, so that I know where I have to cut to. Because now we're going to cut this up, and we're going to cut it like this. We're just going to cut to that line and back. Now make sure you want to get to that line. You don't want to go over too much, but you don't want to be short. The big thing is don't be short. If you're short, then it's not going to fold where you want it to fold. If you're too long, it's also not going to fold where you want it to. You're going to do this all the way across on both sides, and then either end, either this end or that end, it doesn't matter, just cut off a little bit so that when we roll it up, we don't have an overlap. And I'll show you what that looks like. Here we've got one here. It's cut all the way, and I just cut off here and here, just cut off a piece. And then I folded these all over on that line while I had it nice and flat. Just fold them all over, and then take your glue stick, and this is just to help you roll it without it getting too bent. Just take your glue stick and just roll it around your glue stick like that, and just give it a good press. You can roll it like back and forth on your table really hard, just to get that to go where you want it to go, and get it nice and around there. And then we're going to glue it, and we're going to put some masking tape on it to hold it. And it doesn't matter whether the part that you cut the little edges off is on top or the bottom. You just we don't want 2 little foldovers in the same spot when we start folding those down to put our circles on the top. Just put a little glue. I should have done a piece of masking tape beforehand. Whoops. All right, I'm going to set that down. There we go. Stick that over to the side. All right. Now, the glue stick makes a really nice size support for your spool. It gives you enough support for your top and bottom. Then you just want to make sure that you line your lines up so that you know that it's straight. The lines that you drew to cut to, you just want those to be lined up, because if they're off, that means your whole thing is a little bit crooked. There we go. And I put the tape on there to hold my glue, and also just as an extra support, because with that tape, and I make sure that I go around and overlap it well. So that way I know it's not going to come unrolled. Okay, once we get that done, we're going to fold these all back in again. Just like that. And then we're going to put some glue on it. And then we're going to take our little sanded discs, the ones that are all sanded and ready to go. And I just eyeball it. If you want to find center and try and make sure you're exactly in the center, you can do that. To me, I just kind of look at it and see if I think it's about in the center. I kind of, pick it up and look all around. And I think that looks pretty good. And, you may find the first one that I did, it seemed a little bit like crooked. It doesn't matter to me. They're all going in a box. They're going to hold my twine whether they're exactly perfect or not. Just want to kind of put this on top and look straight down. I think that looks pretty good. I'll look at it this way to see if it looks good this way. I think it needs to be over a little bit. And there we go. That looks really good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this on the counter and set a jelly jar on top of it that's full of jelly, and that's going to hold it, and I'm going to leave it sit till tomorrow. The thing about drying is you really want your stuff to dry. If you're going to use it, I'm using this functionally. If it was just decorative, I wouldn't worry about it so much, but I want a really good solid bond for it to last. Sorry about that, but I really did actually want to put that jelly jar on there so that it would dry well. And so that is how you make them. Now, the one thing I got to thinking, because I did have a whole toilet paper roll sitting on the table when I was done, and I thought, I want to make a big one. So what I did was I just took my toilet paper roll. It was, I'll use my sander as an example, full length, but I wanted that line around there. And so what I did was I just held my credit card, or whatever this is, my painty card. I just held that along the bottom of my tube, lined it up, and then I just kind of went like this, and I just did that all the way around. And so that way, and it didn't take very long either. I thought, oh, this is going to take me forever, but just keep going and going and going. And when you get all the way around, then just cut your nips. And I don't need to do any more of that because I'm sure you've got it. And then cut your nips and then fold it in. And then what I did was I took the inside of my masking tape, and I made, well, what did I do with them? I just had them out here. Here they are. I made great big ones. And so that's going to go on there. And that's going to go on there. Just like that. And I thought that I could use those more maybe for lace, because your lace is kind of wider. But I'm going to make a few like that too. And even if that is just decorative, I think they're cute. So once you get your spool all made, I have one here that's all done. Then you're just going to want to paint it any color that you want. I haven't decided yet. I painted this one with brown with little touches of like gold on it. But I'm thinking that I might want to do, because this is just my regular colored twine, like if I'm going to do green twine, I think I may want to color this with green and then make my green twine. But I'm not really sure because of maybe I want contrast. So I haven't decided exactly yet what color I'm going to color them. But and what I am going to do is I'm going to take the twine and I'm going to put it on my spool. And now I'm not super picky. If you want this to be absolutely perfect, you can go kind of slow and make sure that your twine gets exactly next to the twine next to it. But I have never been picky. I've never been good at hand rolling a bobbin for a sewing machine, that's for sure. Because it always gets tangled up when I try and use it because I'm not careful enough. But I'm going to wrap my twine around here until it gets as full as I decide I want it. Wow. And then I'm going to take it back off again and dye it. Because I don't want to dye too little and I don't want to dye too much. So this way, I know that the twine that I dye is going to fit. Now the twine is probably going to puff up just maybe a little bit from getting wet and from having paint on it. So I will make this a little less full than I think I want it. And that way, if it does puff up a bit, I don't have to worry that it won't fit on my spool. And as it goes, it'll still fit because you can make it fat in the middle and let it stick out and it would be fine. So, but see how much twine fits on this spool? I was really impressed as I did the other one as to just how much that they will hold. And this is very solid. It's not going to fall apart. So there we go. I think that that's probably enough. And so I'm just going to cut this right here. And I'm going to decide what color to dye that. And now I have two of them. Now this one is just a little bit smaller because that was the first one that I made. And I will tell you the inside of this, I didn't show it to you, but the inside post on this one does not look really pretty. And where I glued it together, it doesn't look really pretty, but it's really good. It's really solid. With the twine around it, nobody's going to see it. So don't worry about that. Don't worry if it kind of gets all bunchy or something. So that's what we did today. I hope that you enjoyed that. And I know that I've been having fun working on this because I'm so excited about what it's going to look like. And so I hope that if you have some twine or some lace or something that you need to hold, I hope that this helps you figure out how to do your own spools. Thank you very much for watching. And for next week, what we are going to need is wax paper. I got this at the Dollar Tree for $1. And a word find book. And large print, if you can get it, is going to be the best because you want something that you can see a little bit. Even large print is not huge. But and so we're going to need a word find book and some wax paper, so that's $2 for next week. I didn't go over the bank last week. We bought our scoreboard on week 48. We had $23 and bought our scoreboard. And we used the whole $23, whether we used it all for the scoreboard or not. My scoreboard was $17. I used the $6 to buy some extra paints at Walmart and a double pack of glue at the Dollar Tree. I always use my extras just for, just to refill what I have here. And so everybody was told to spend your whole $23, even if you didn't need it for the scoreboard. If you wanted a bigger scoreboard, you may have been able to get one for that. And so that brought us down to $0. So last week 49, we made our tea bag holders and our matchbooks. And so we didn't spend any money, so that was $5. On our twine spools today, we didn't spend any money, so that left us with another $5. So that is $10 in our bank. Next week, we are going to only spend $2 on our word find and our wax paper, so we'll have $3 left. So next week, we will have $13 in our bank, and this is what we are going to need to get. And I really do appreciate you all watching. Thank you very much, and I hope that you enjoy making some of these, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.